Hey YouTubers, I'm Jacob. Today I'm going to show you how to change the spark plugs in a 2015 Ford F150 with the 5.0 liter V8, and we're using NGK radium plugs. So let's get started. Here's a list of materials and tools you will need to complete this project. You're also going to want some dielectric grease, anti-seize compound, prying tools, torque wrench, 5/8 spark plug socket, 8mm socket, some compressed air. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is use compressed air to blow out around the boot and the clip. So make sure you don't get any sand or dirt down in there. So I'm going to blow on this one. Next step, you want to use a flathead screwdriver or like a claw kind of thing if you had something like that. We're going to use this red tab. We're going to push it up, but you want to be easy with it. Okay. If you pull it out all the way, it's okay. You can insert it back in. It actually makes this next step easier. You're going to push down on this black portion of the tab and push down with the whole plug. So you push into it here and down with the whole plug. You don't hear it click, and then you should be able to slide it off. Did you hear it click? Mm-hmm. And it should slide up. You can use this to kind of slowly work it up if you can't get it off. All right, set it to the side. Now we have an 8mm bolt here to remove. Or just use a small ratchet. Once you get it loose, you should be able to just get it off by hand. They're pretty long threads, so it takes a little bit. You can use a ratchet for this. I just prefer to do it by hand. Okay, so set that aside safely. Now you should be able to grab the whole boot and just kind of wiggle it back and forth and pull it out. There we go. Okay, now we're going to use our special spark plug socket.
Yeah, show us.
This is a 5/8 socket. It's a magnetic. It's got the rubber protection around it for the top conical part. So I've got a long extension, another one here. It's good to have several different ones. The long one really helps a lot. Okay, so let's put it down on there and make sure it's seated on the spark plug properly first. Okay, feels good to me. So now we're gonna loosen this up and remove the old spark plug. And you want to be very careful and stay centered and not like side load it to the side like this, or any direction. You want to stay right in the middle as best you can. And that is the sound of plugs straight from the factory with no anti-seize or anything. They're just totally dry. And we're going to put anti-seize compound on the threads on our new spark plugs to make sure that they don't get seized up in there like that, really tight. It does help to warm the motor up a little bit before you do this, but you can do it cold too. Be careful as you continue loosening. I'm going to go ahead and just do the rest by hand, just make sure I don't get it cross-threaded or anything like that. Okay, maybe we'll go back to the wrench a little longer first. Okay, it feels like it's really loosening up now. Just like that. There's no plug. You can see it's kind of rusted from that from no anti-seize compound and just old oil buildup.
Your new phone will not cooperate.
Okay, these are the new plugs, the NGK Iridiums. They came pre-gapped from the factory, and then they were also tuned at Rock Auto, and they came shipped individually. They're protected like this so that the gap doesn't get adjusted. Look at the difference here. Quite a bit of difference. So you want to try and not touch this portion with your hand. It's good to have a glove when you're applying some of this. This is the dielectric grease. Same brand. But the anti-seize will help prevent this rusting from happening. It'll make it easier to put them in and take them out in the future. But this portion will just protect it from any corrosion between the boot and the spark plugs. We just want to run a line all the way down it, and then use your rubber glove to spread it around because you don't really want to touch this portion. And just coat it evenly around it. It's pretty sticky stuff, but it works really well. Okay, so now that we got that ready, we're going to go ahead and just insert it into the spark plug socket here. Get it seated down in there. Now it's ready to very carefully insert back in. But before we actually do this, I'm going to blow it out with the compressor and make sure the threads, all this rusted stuff, is cleaned out of there before we insert this in. Okay, so I'm going to use this without the ratchet attached to insert it down in. I'm going to twist it actually counterclockwise, so that would be like loosening it until I hear the thread seat. Once I feel and hear that, then I'll start tightening it. That way I make sure I'm not cross-threading it at all. Okay, so let's just slowly insert it back. Okay, so we'll turn counterclockwise. Did you kind of hear that or feel that? Let's see, keep going. There, I felt it. All right, I'm gonna start tightening very easily and smoothly. Make sure I'm centered up on here. So you can see it's going in much easier with that anti-seize compound, a lot smoother. Okay, so now that it feels kind of solid. All right, so I'm just gonna tighten it up till it's a little snug and seated. Then once I feel like it's maybe set, I'm gonna use the torque wrench. Okay, so that feels, okay, so that feels like it's almost there. So I'm gonna go take this portion off the ratchet. I'm gonna put my torque wrench on here. Now it's supposed to be 127 inch-pounds. I've done a conversion, which comes out to about, so that's what we're gonna set it to. All right, so just nice and easily insert it on there. Make sure you got room to torque and you're centered. And that's it. Just test it there. Okay, seems like it's there. Just carefully pull it out. Our new plug is now set. All right, now we'll put the boot back on. Make sure it's centered. Okay, went in easy. Hand thread in the bolt here. This is the 8mm. And before I get this really snug up, I like to get my clip like in place. So hear it snap in there. Okay. I'm gonna wait to seat it the rest of it down, but that way I know it's in place and on the boot. You don't want to do it before you put the bolt in, but you want to do it right after you get it somewhat on there. Okay, so that's probably good enough hand-wise. I'm gonna tighten it the rest of the way with the ratchet. All right, that's good. Don't want to over tighten it, just get it snug. Now we'll essentially make sure this is seated down on and then push our red clip down. And that's it, we're done with this cylinder. Now you're ready to move on to the next one. I'll go ahead and say that we've already done all the cylinders. It is very helpful to have different size length extensions, especially several of them, to get together, to get over some of the, you know, your coolant lines and just different lines that are in the way. It's almost easier to actually get all the way up on here with knee pads too. You got to be careful where you get up on the truck to get the far back ones. And sometimes you got to really lay out there too and just have different size ladders because they're all kind of different. This truck only has a 2.5-inch lift, but I can imagine if you've got a really serious lift, you're gonna probably need a really good size ladder to get up there. So if you have any questions on this, please put them below. If you enjoyed watching this video, please smash down the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.
All right, remind me, I need to push this black piece down or in?
Push it down, but also push the whole black piece down. And then you'll hear it click and then you should be able to pull it out. It's just really weird angle back in there, this last one. Thank you for watching this how-to video. Post your questions and comments below. I have included Amazon affiliate links in the description for products I use and stand behind. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please like this video and subscribe to my channel.